New iPhone 13 Pro means new phone cases. Let's check all these out. Dave Taylor here, and I'm checking out new cases for my iPhone 13 Pro. I got a bunch of them, as you can see. Now, what happens is I tell these vendors that I have a new phone, and they say, cool, and send me a ton of cases. So this is one of two videos I'm going to be doing. This one, we're focused on protective cases. Now, with all cases, I always look at three criterion. I look at how well the fit works, so the cutouts, how do they match up with the phone? This is the iPhone 13. And I look at whether the front edge is raised sufficiently so that if you drop the phone on its face, the case takes the impact. And the third thing is I look at the charge and wireless charging support. Now, the 13 has a slightly different system, as did the 12, which is MagSafe. So we'll be looking at, do they support MagSafe? All right, you ready? Let's dive in. Let's see. The first one I wanted to look at is this big hefty guy. This is the Otterbox Defender Pro, and it is the most protective of all the different cases, which also means that it's the hardest of all the cases to put on because it's multiple layers. Now, it does have that holster if you like putting that on your belt. Not really my speed, but I certainly see people that do something like that. And then we have the case itself, and it's actually multiple parts. There is a soft outer rubber portion, which hopefully we can get off. I'm not sure why it's on very snug, right? The whole case is well assembled. So we have that, and then we have the inner piece, and this is a polycarbonate, and it actually splits into two. And like I said, this is a super protective case. So you put your phone in the middle, and then you clip it closed. And that's a very easy process. I've seen some of these case companies where they have a special tool you need to use. Not a fan of that. But I have the phone in the inner case, and then I put the outer case on it. And we now have an extremely protective case. And it's pretty nice looking. What do you think? So this color is happy purple, and it is kind of a happy purple. So then, like I said, the three questions are: one, how good are the cutouts? And we can do some close-up photos so you can see. I would assess that it's pretty darn good. Everything's kind of deep in the case, so there is some usability issue here. If you find that you constantly need to reach in to like mute your phone or something, that actually involves opening up a flap and then reaching in there. And the flap is an interesting design given that the front isn't covered and the back isn't covered. The flap suggests that this is waterproof or something, but obviously it's not because it's not a full case. But it is super protective, and the phone is actually pretty water resistant. In terms of the top bezel, there is plenty enough that it's taking the impact, which is good. And then in terms of wireless charging, well, let's see. And it is charging wirelessly. This is not a MagSafe charger. This is just a Qi wireless charger. That's how it goes. But if it can work with this, it definitely can work with MagSafe. Now, two interesting things about this case is it's antimicrobial and it's made out of 50% recycled plastics. So one of the things I've started to really look at with cases is, are they using any recycled materials at all? And I think most companies are, but not all companies tell you because they might not be proud of the number or the percentage, but this is 50% recycled, which is about as good as it gets in the cases I've looked at. And as you can see, it's a little bit of a job to get the case apart, to get the phone out, but I always figure that if that is in fact how it works, then at least my phone's going to be nice and protected while it's actually in the case, which is really sort of the goal here. This is the hardest and most complex of the cases to work with, and when your phone's in it, obviously you can put it on the holster. I'm going to put that back in the box. Okay, so that was our first case. Now this is the Otterbox Defender Pro, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you all the prices at the end because it's just how I'm going to do it. And so then our next one is also from Otterbox, somewhere in this pile. Here we go. So this is the Otterbox Symmetry Series Plus. And this one I really like because it is a bold color. Look at that color. Awesome. And you can also see it is support for MagSafe. That's what this is here. It's just a set of magnets that line up. It is way easier to put your phone in. And there we go. Phone is fully in. And it is an interesting design. Here's some close-ups. They, of course, nailed exact dimensions on the cutouts. It does have a front level of sort of raised edge. And in terms of wireless charging, with that MagSafe, you know that it's going to be actually compatible. It is also antimicrobial. It is also 50% recycled plastics. This one comes in 4 colors. This is in the red, and I like it because I like bold colors. Having said that, I will also say that most of these cases I'm looking at this time are not bold colors. They are fairly dull colors. I guess a lot of people like black or gray phone cases. Not sure what that's all about. All right, speaking of black cases, this is the Speck Presidio 2 Grip. And I really like the Presidio line, and in particular, I like the grip design because it has these sort of ribs on it so that it's really safe for you to hold without any worries about having it slip. You can also see there's that MagSafe magnet reinforcement or something in there. And it's super easy to put on your phone. And it has a great front edge on it. The cutouts are spot on. And it is compatible, as you would expect, with your wireless charger. So this one is also antimicrobial. This is Microban is what they use, which is I think just a trade brand name or something. And I don't know whether they use anything recycled. They don't say. Comes in 3 colors. This is black and white. That tiny little white icon is the white part. And otherwise there are some more colorful options. That's 3. We're halfway there. Next up is the, let's see, Catalyst Vibe. And this one looks like this. And you can see the MagSafe inside. I don't know if it is antimicrobial in any form. I don't know if they use any recycled materials of any sort. But it is a nice case. It is easy to put on. And once I put it on properly, it has a really nice level of front extrusion, or actually sort of protection. So it's a very protective. All of these are really protective cases. That's really kind of what they have in common. Does it charge wirelessly? Yes, it does, as you would expect. And the cutouts, well, most everything is actually covered up. And so even like the volume mute is actually a little dial you can spin, which is an interesting design. And then what they did on the speakers is instead of having them come out the bottom, they actually have a little bit of space and have cutouts so that the sound comes out the front. So they actually redirect your sound, which is a really interesting idea. So there's lots to like about this. And one of the other things they do that's really cool is that you can buy different color buttons and dials, so you can actually bling it out a little bit, because this is battleship gray and you're not going to win any design awards or color awards with this. It is entirely a functional color, but it only comes in 2 colors, but those extended buttons and stuff actually come in 4 other nice bright colors. All right, so let's see. Let's put that one over here. And then let's see, next up is the one case I threw in the mix here because it's very, very affordable. So this is a different kind of case. It is somewhat protective, but not as much as all the other ones. This is the Adidas Trefoil, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, snap case. And it's basically just a piece of thermoplastic polyurethane, or TPU. And it actually is super easy to work with. You put it on, it's very slim. It just barely has a front, so it just barely picks up that impact. The cutouts are all in perfect places and everything. It does pick up fingerprints, so be aware this glossy finish does tend to pick up environmental dirts, but it is also dramatically less expensive. And let's see, it also does wireless charging. So Is it made out of recycled materials? Don't know. Does it antimicrobial? I doubt it, but I don't know. If you're a big fan of Adidas, and they do have a great brand and a great logo, then this is definitely something to check out. Honestly, you can pick these up at your local Adidas store, which gets us down to one last option. This is the Lifeproof C Case. And it's interesting because they make a big deal that it's made of recycled plastic, but in fact, it's only 45% recycled plastic, which means that, for example, this has more recycled plastic in it, and it doesn't even say that, whereas this one has 45%. But I really like the Lifeproof cases. This one is, as with the entire series, it's a two-color case, so the buttons are orange, and the rest of this is what they call gray. So this is their Anchors Away color scheme. I don't know if it's antimicrobial by them not saying. I assume that it's not. It has a really perfect level of raised edge, so it's going to take all the impact. This is a really nice impact protection case, and the cutouts and everything are just spot on. And finally, will it charge? And the answer is yes. So all of these cases work with this, what do I have here? An Anchor wireless Qi charging stand. So if it works with that, it'll definitely work if you get a MagSafe charger, because that's an even stronger system. But you know, the idea of all of these cases is really simple. And that is that if you have your phone and you drop it, you don't want it to break. You don't want it to like bounce down a staircase and be shattered at the bottom. You don't want to test this tough screen out or anything. You want it to take the impact with as little additional thickness as possible. Now, I will also say the 13 is notable because the cameras really stick out on the back, and so all of these cases give you a huge amount of additional protection for those camera lenses in terms of them not chipping, because if my phone falls, this isn't necessarily the bread on the buttered side, right? So if it falls and hits this way, then that could easily damage or break any or all of my camera lenses. That would be bad. So here are all my color choices. Here are all my styles and design choices. And it's absolutely the case that Adidas is the lowest simple budget case. Now, let me go through all the prices, and then I'll tell you which one's my favorite of all of these. We'll start with the Otterbox. Let me get it out of its box, which might or might not be an easy process. Really doesn't want to give up. There we go. So this is the Otterbox Defender Pro in Happy Purple, and it's $64.95 at Otterbox.com. This is the most expensive case I looked at. Then, coming in number 2 is the Otterbox Symmetry, and this is certainly lots of fun. I really like the MagSafe design and everything. This is $59.95 at Otterbox.com. And then where are we? And then the Speck, that's Catalyst. This is the Speck one. The Speck Presidio Pro. This one is in black and white. As you can see, barely, there's the white. And this is $54.95 at speckproducts.com. And then this is the Catalyst. So this is the Catalyst Vibe in Battleship Gray, and it's $49.99 at catalystcase.com. Then we get to the Adidas, and this, like I said, is a TPU case. Comes in 6 different colors and a bunch of different designs and stuff, and it's $19.95 at adidascases.com. So it is dramatically less expensive than everything else. And finally, the Lifeproof C Case. This is Anchors Away, gray and orange. You can barely see the orange there, and it's $59.99 at lifeproof.com. So, of all of these, which one do I like the best? Actually, I think I'm gonna go with the Speck Presidio 2 Grip. I don't like the color. I find black to be really boring. I want something a little more exciting, but I love the grip, and I like that it's also MagSafe compatible. So this is our winner of all of the different cases I looked at today. whatever one I choose, my iPhone 13 Pro is going to be way more protected, and that's really what's most important. I hope this was interesting and fun for you. That's all I got. Subscribe to my channel. Give me some feedback. Don't miss the next one, because I'll be reviewing more cases that have much more fun and interesting designs. These are all focused on protection, and that's what we got, and they're protected. So I'll catch you in my next video.